For this effect, I can start by taking the deck and I can give it a couple of cuts like this to totally mix up everything. After I have gave the deck a couple of cuts, I would explain to the participant that I'm going to start by dealing a couple of piles like this, and they just call out stop whenever they would like. So let's say they call out stop here. Let's see what we stopped on. In this case, we stopped on a 9, we stopped on a 5, and we stopped on another 9. So we got actually two of a kind, which is really impressive. So let's go ahead and see if we can actually find one more four of a kind. So I'm going to start dealing like this, and let's say they call out stop right here. In this case, we stopped on a 10, which isn't anything close. So let's actually go to that 9, 5, 9, and 10 and see what we can find here. So we have a 9, we have a 5, we have another 9, and we also have a 10 as well. So I would have the participant go ahead and turn over all four cards next to the cards they stopped on, and they would see that they stopped on one king, two king, three king, and four kings. That's pretty impressive. But wait, you called out stop anywhere you want, and if you turn over the entire piles, you're going to see with the king of diamonds is the queen of diamonds, with the king of clubs is the queen of clubs, the queen of hearts with the king of hearts, and the king of spades with the queen of spades. And that is the effect. If you would like to learn how to do this, stick around for the tutorial. Before I get into the tutorial, the cards that I'm using are the Rise First Edition. I have a deck review on these. I will link that in the description. So here is how you're going to start off this effect. There is a setup, and I don't think you can actually do this impromptu. So I'm not actually gonna teach it at the end for how to do it impromptu. You're just gonna learn it with a setup. So what you're going to do is you're going to take out any two four of a kinds. In this case, I took out kings and queens. You can use kings and jacks, queens and aces, kings and aces. It really doesn't matter. But I like kings and queens because the king and queen is going to match up. This king and queen is going to match up. This king and queen is going to match up. And this king and queen is going to match up. But you can do whatever you would like. You could probably use two sets of numbers too. So after this, you're going to go ahead and you're going to take out the king of clubs, hearts, and spades. And you're also going to take out the queen of clubs, hearts, and spades, just like this. So if we turn everything face down, we have the king of clubs, the king of hearts, the king of spades, followed by the queen of clubs, queen of hearts, and queen of spades. These are going to go on top of the pack. And then for your king and queen of diamonds, when you turn them face down, it's going to be the queen on top, followed by the king, and this goes on the bottom. And this is your setup. So one more time from the top, face down, you have the king of clubs, hearts, and spade, and then the queen of clubs, hearts, and spades. Then on the bottom, you have the queen of diamonds, and at the very end, you have the king of diamonds. And this is your setup. So you can start off the effect by doing any false shuffles and or cuts you would like. Just leave everything in order. I will leave a link for some false cuts down below. You're going to pick up the deck and you explain that you're going to deal 3 piles like this, and you would like for them to call out stop anytime they would like. Now you want to time this so by the time you get finished talking, you have your kings on the table followed with your queens. And personally, I like a couple of random cards on top as well. So as you can see, a jack, an ace, and a 3. So I time it so by the time I get the kings and queens, I have 2 or 3 rows of random cards. And then they can really say stop. You just don't want them to say stop on a king or queen. So after this, you say, okay, let's see what you stopped on. And it doesn't matter if they have a 3 of a kind, a 2 of a kind, or if they don't have a match. Okay, so you explain you have a 6, a 5, and an 8. Let's see if we can find either a 6 again, a 5, or an 8. You're going to take the rest of the cards in your hand and you're going to drop them on top of the first pile. Because I dealt from here to here to here, and then back to here to here to here, I'm going to drop it on the first pile, pick up everything, drop it on the second pile, and finally the third pile. And now you're going to deal 1 more time. The only thing is, however, you don't want them to actually say stop when you get really close to the 6. Because keep in mind, this one card is going to be a king, and matching it is going to be a queen. Okay? So you're going to deal nice and slow for them to say stop. But they do have a bunch of cards as well if they say stop early enough the first time. So let's say they go a couple more. Let's say here, and as you can see, we still have a bunch. So you say, okay, let's see what we have. In this case, a 4. And it doesn't matter if you have a 2 of a kind, a 3 of a kind, or, which is really rare, a 4 of a kind. Take the rest of the deck and drop it on top. Finally, you say, okay, let's go to those 4 numbers. You're going to take the face-up card, 1 more card face down on top of it, and then all of the other cards, and you're going to drop those. Meaning, the face-up card and that first face-down card you're going to set down. You're going to do this again. So take all those face-down cards, followed by the 1 face up with face down. We go through again, just like this. And last but not least, just like this. You can show the rest of the deck. It really doesn't matter, because when they turn over these 4 cards, they're going to land on the 4 kings. And then to make things even better, the king of spades is with the queen of spades, as you can see here. King of Hearts with the Queen of Hearts, King of Clubs with the Queen of Clubs, and the King of Diamonds with the Queen of Diamonds. And that is the effect. So I hope you really enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time with a new video. Bye.